Hi there, this is John Felix, or the Battlerite ProFiler. In this third Battlerite profile, I have the pleasure of talking to Mini. We talk about him as a Dota player, his time on TelRoskMi, and the upcoming semi-finals versus Impact, among other things, of course. Now, don't be afraid to use the comment section, guys. If you have a pro you'd like me to talk to next, or questions that you think I should bring up, just let me know. Alright, with that said, let's get into Battlerite Profile number 3 with Mini. Okay, so this is Battlerite Profile number 3, and with us this time we have Mini. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you.
I'm glad you're on the show. Mini or Mini Dota, before we saw you in Battlerite, you were a Dota player, right?
Yes, that's correct. For a pretty long while.
When did you start playing Dota?
I started playing Dota 1 or Dota 2. I suppose Dota 1.
Yeah.
I started playing Dota 1 when I was 14, maybe, something like it. And then I played for many, many years, at least 8 or 9.
And then you kept playing into Dota 2?
Yes. As soon as I got the beta key, I just switched instantly because it looked really good to me. And yeah, it was gonna be the thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm personally very unfamiliar in the competitive scene of Dota, but how high of a level did you compete at?
I mean, at the time I was competing, I suppose, at the highest level, but I suppose the results were not there. But I was trying to qualify for the international famous tournament, and I was playing in the bigger tournaments, but we never really won any super big tournaments.
All right, but you were at the highest level, because I checked your team, the teams you had been on, and I at least recognized like Meet Your Makers.
Oh yeah.
The last team you were on, that's an org that you've seen in like EU, LCS, and League of Legends and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah. We participated in some DreamHacks with Meet Your Makers, but it never really worked out.
All right. So what made you quit Dota then?
I mean, the main point for me was my motivation was running low for Dota. I've done the game for so long and without the results I was aiming for, and also just a money issue. Basically, I needed to get a job, get some money in, and yeah, you know, life.
Yeah. Okay, so when you did quit Dota, did you think that you'd be competing in another title later on, or did you think that, okay, pro player days are over?
I mean, I've always been striving to compete in anything, really. But at the time, I felt pretty done with esports. But it's probably just because, you know, you quit a game and you're kind of down and all of that. But I hope to get back in some game later on if I found any. And yeah, I mean, here we are. A little bit smaller game, but it's still competing, and I love it.
Yeah. Did you compete in other things other than video games and esports before you got into that?
I mean, no, not really. It was just when I was a little bit, like when I was a kid, I competed in all the kind of sports, like ping pong and football and such, but nothing serious.
Normal Swedish kid stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you play BLC before you got into Battlerite?
I did, actually. I actually played, I mean, not a lot of BLC, but I had at least 10+ day time in playtime, but I only played it for fun. I played it as a side game when I wanted to relax from Dota with my friends, solo queue, stuff like that. So I played a game and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
All right. So how did you get into Battlerite then?
It was actually my friend who told me that, oh, there's coming a new BLC 2.0, and he tried to convince me to play. I was like, nah, I'm playing some other games now, but he convinced me, and yeah, here I am.
Yeah, here you are. And you've been on top in Battlerite for quite a while, actually. When did you form TelRoskMi?
Oh, when was that? That was pretty early, actually. I was a twos player. Like, I only played 2 versus 2. Back in the days, there was only 2 versus 2 tournaments. I played with Bus Driver, but then there was this one bigger 3 versus 3 tournaments, Master of Bacon, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And there was BO4 and the Peter, 2 Russian guys, who asked me to stand in for them, which I did. And after that, I formed TelRoskMi. So I think it was... I don't know, actually.
But really early in the 3v3
It was kind of
scene,
early.
then.
It was after Master of the Bacon.
Yeah.
I can say that. Yeah.
All right. And you guys, you were like, for quite some time, you guys were like a peg above like all other EU teams, I would say. What do you think made you guys so strong as a team?
I think, first of all, we had a really good comp. I mean, our comp was very, very good. I mean, there was not really any other teams who tried it, or they hadn't really experienced playing against it either. And so yeah, the comp was obviously a big factor, but also we had really good communication.
Yeah.
Like we had good calls, and yeah, good comp and good calls.
And if someone has come to Battle right now and didn't see you guys back then, that comp was like Teldo on Croak, right? Verosk on Jade, and you on Lucy.
Yes,
if I remember
correct.
correctly. What made that comp so strong?
I think the comp was so strong because there was a lot of synergy with the in-cap into snipe, into panic. I mean, a lot of damage, and people didn't really counter it back then. I mean, there was some teams trying with Paloma and Taya that could ruin the combo, but a lot of teams just played Rook or things that could not really handle the in-cap combo, because we played a lot around the combo, just putting in an in-cap and yeah, trying to kill a person very quickly. And yeah, I mean, Teldo described it as RMP, like in World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And it was just overall really good synergy with it.
I'm a bit curious about Teldo as a person. Because he's the one out of TelRoskMi who is not around anymore. We see Verosk in Functional Sociopaths, and you are in Game On now. And like, did you play anything or know Teldo before you played with him in TelRoskMi?
No, I didn't play with him at all, actually. I played against him very many times in twos. Me and my teammate played against him in ranked and tournaments, but they basically just asked me to play with them, and yeah, we went from there.
Because I've seen him, like, I've read that he was very high ranked in League of Legends just when it came out, like Season 1 top rank. I think I've seen him compete in Guild Wars 2 on YouTube. He started very early with Battlerite, and now he's not playing that. So it kind of seems like he dives into a game, becomes really, really great in that, and then he just moves on.
Yeah, I mean, he gets really good at the game, but I think he gets a little bit burned out. Like he's playing it too much, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Did he say that was the reason why he kind of quit the competitive scene, or?
I mean, after our team we disbanded, he got kind of burned out on the game, and he didn't really want to continue, so he took a break. Yeah.
Do you think we'll see him again?
I think we'll see him now when the Battle Royale comes out. He's probably going to stream that for sure, but in competitive scene, no, I don't think so.
All right. So how did you go from that to forming Game On, the team you're on now?
I was playing in a couple of teams after TelRoskMi. I tried out for Functional Sociopaths. I played with Sinus and Rattler for a while, and that did not work out. We did not really have the same vision of how to play the game.
Yeah.
We're superior, like really good players, but Synox is a very aggressive player, and I'm a very passive player, and yeah, it just didn't click. And then I tried to play with a couple of other players, and suddenly I came across Lumi. Me and Lumi played with a lot of players. I can't exactly remember them right now. I think we played with Gazag, we played with a couple of other players, but it never really worked out. And then I don't know how we found Ivor, but we found Ivor, and here we are.
Maybe he found you.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true.
But was there ever a time after you disbanded TelRoskMi? Was there ever a time where you and Verosk thought about just finding a new melee champion? Since you guys, as a trio, you guys worked so well together. Yeah. I don't think we tried with another melee, actually. We just kind of
got bummed out, and then we looked other ways.
Mm.
We did have a comeback well with TelRoskMi.
Yeah, I remember.
But that did not work out either. So
it was right after Thorn was released, I think. I think I remember seeing Teldo actually play a game on Not Croak, which was
he
new.
he played a lot of Thorn. Actually, but it didn't work out as well as we wanted to, and we disbanded once again.
All right, but you're on Game On now, and you managed to qualify for the BPL. You were the last team to qualify for the BPL, and I remember a lot of people watching the qualifiers and talking up the BPL kind of had quite low expectations of Game On after the qualifiers. What was your expectations of your team going into group stage?
I mean, going into group stage, we felt pretty good because after we qualified, we kind of found a playstyle that works for us. In the group stage, we had we tried 100 different comps, but we tried too many comps, and we just didn't know how we wanted to play. And we lost some matches that we felt like we shouldn't have lost, and it was just we were kind of bummed out of losing some of the games, and that influenced some of the other qualifiers we played. But luckily, we managed. And we got back on our feet, and we found a very nice playstyle, and it worked out in the BPL as well.
Yeah, it really did. You guys won your group. Was it surprising to go from the last team to qualify to just sweeping group stage, taking everything?
I mean, we would be happy just getting through the group stage, since there's a lot of good teams there. But like after the groups or the qualifier, we, as I said, we found our playstyle and we felt pretty good about it. I mean, I didn't expect to win the group, but I'm very happy that we did.
Yeah. Okay, so talking about your playstyle, could you tell me something about Ivar and Lumi, like strengths? What makes them good players, in your opinion?
I mean, they are very skilled individually, of course, but the thing that makes us so good together is our teamwork, I would say. Like, we have a very good synchronization, and I can't like really put out specific things about what they do that is so good, except that we play very well together.
Do you have that level of communication that you mentioned earlier for TelRoskMi? Is that something that...
I think we have even better, if I'm going to be honest. Our communication is one of our strengths, and our callings of target, like our target choice, is one of the bigger things of what we're getting really good at.
All right. With you being quite a veteran both in Battlerite and having played competitively in Dota before, would you say that you're kind of the leader in the team?
I don't like. It's hard to call in a game like this somebody a leader, since I don't think there should be only one person shot calling. Since there's so many things happening at the same time, if it will be only on one person, that would be too hard. Because sometimes, as a healer, I don't see things as Lumi says. So he needs to call, this guy doesn't have that cooldown, so we can follow up on that later. So it's a very mixed leadership, since everybody's calling the things. Yeah.
All right. I did an interview with Cheater on my last episode of Team Youngsung, and they also won their group in NA and talked about what made them really strong. And we talked a lot about flex picking, since everyone can play support in that team and they can go here and there when it comes to their roles. And we've seen that from some EU teams as well. I think Impact switches up a bit sometimes. Gatekeepers does it occasionally. They can put jolts on a melee champion if they wanna. Do you think that's something that generally makes teams harder to beat?
I think that's a big strength of teams, not generally swapping roles, but mainly having a lot of comps is a big strength in a team. And that's what why I think Impact have been doing so good the last months or even the half year, because they can play a lot of things and use that to their advantage. I think it is a very good strength to have as a team to play multiple comps. But it's not fully necessary, but it's really good because you can adapt fast.
How much do you in draft phase, right? Because I'm guessing that's where the flex picking matters the most, right?
Yeah.
When a team picks a champion and you're not sure what they're picking, or for who they're picking, rather.
Yeah, exactly.
How important is it for you when you draft what the other teams pick before a game?
I mean, if we're facing a team like Impact, it's pretty much impossible to predict what we're playing, since they play a lot of comps. So even if we see one character, we have no idea what the next two will be. Sometimes you can have hums that we have seen them play before, etc., etc. But a lot of the times we're just gonna pick what we think is good for us, and we'll go from there.
All right. Do you think we'll ever see a ranged or melee mini in the BPL?
I mean, I play a pretty nasty rook, but that's gonna be in the long future then.
All right.
Probably not.
The season 3 LAN, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay, so looking back at group stage, do you think that there was some team or player that surprised you now that we've wrapped up groups?
I don't know if I can call it surprise, but I'm very pleased by how Gatekeepers performed. That they beat Impact twice if you count tiebreakers.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall I feel Gatekeepers. I mean, I suppose kind of surprised that they played that good and won their group stage, since Impact has been doing that good. So yeah, it's nice to see that Gatekeepers won the group stage.
Is there any team that you feel kind of disappointed? I mean, because you scrimmed each other, you played each other. I think you knew the teams better than a lot of fans before the actual BPL. Was there some team that you thought would do better?
I thought for sure that Functional Sociopaths would do better, but then again, we had a very tight group.
Yes.
I would say. So I mean, basically, there was like any team could face elimination, and since we did that good, obviously there's got to be one team that goes out. And yeah.
I wanted to talk about that promotion relegation because I thought about your group, like the Impact, Gatekeepers, Whedon Boys, and Pulse Drunk group was kind of like 3 tiers in that group. I'd say you have Impact and Gatekeepers on top. Whedon Boys is a good team, and then Pulse Drunk, who really wasn't at that same level. And then in your group, you guys managed to sweep everything right away, win all your games. But aside from that, I feel that group was super tight. Like,
yes,
Functional Sociopaths started out, according to me, as like favorite for second place. And then all of a sudden, Dolos and United picked things up, and then Functional Sociopaths finished last.
Yeah, I actually thought that Functional Sociopaths would qualify and United would place last. But United lately has been playing amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, they stepped up and advanced.
So I'm a bit curious about the format when it comes to promotion and relegation, because if I've understood it correctly, theoretically we could see 3 teams relegated in a season, right? And 3 new teams promoted.
I think that's true, yeah, since there's a lot of I think there's 3 Rising Stars teams that gets to play. Yeah, that's true. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing though. I like that there is a lot of chance for newer teams to prove themselves into the higher competition. And I mean, if the team in BPL loses to a Rising Star team, yeah, maybe the Rising Star team deserves to be in BPL.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Sure.
I kind of like it.
Then, but the thing I add to that, I thought like you at first, and then I thought, but hey, a season is kind of short, right? We have 3 seasons of BPL in 2018.
Yeah.
Which means that in 1 year, I mean, it probably won't happen, but theoretically, we could see 9 swaps.
Oh yeah.
In 1 year. And I'm thinking, you know, we've only seen 1 team be picked up by a sponsor in EU and like 3 teams in NA. Do you think this relegation thing might cause some like question marks for potential sponsors and like, you know, it's kind of an unstable situation maybe?
I mean, I do see your point, but the thing is that BPL did was also it attracted a lot of newer teams getting to the scene, and if it would be too hard for the newer teams to get into BPL, they would lose motivation, and it would be lesser teams, lesser players, etc. But yeah, maybe it could be confusing for sponsor, but even then, I think it's too early for sponsors for Battlerite.
Yeah.
Because the game is still kind of small.
Yeah. Do you think there are people just waiting to see which two teams go to LAN and just say, "Hi, we'll sponsor you so you can sport our jerseys at the LAN"?
I mean, I think there must be some sponsors looking into the Battlerite scene, but I think the scene needs to explode a little bit more before like the bigger sponsors get into the game, basically. But hopefully, we see some bigger sponsors getting into the game and sponsoring some teams, but
yeah,
I'm not sure. Maybe there's some sponsors picked up when we're going to the LAN, but I think it's gonna take maybe to next season or further, maybe even to get it going.
But considering how tight the group was, does this chance of or risk of relegation, is this something that like worries you going into season 2? That, you know, one or two drop games here could mean that you're in the rising stars for season 3?
I feel like the group stage is kind of fair anyways, since even if you get 4th place, you still have a game to play to... like you still have a chance to keep being in the BPL, so I think it's a fair system, to be honest.
So the opportunity of promotion is a more positive thing than the risk of relegation is a bad thing?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Okay. That sounds good. So you'll be facing Impact now in your semifinals, right?
Yep,
if we're looking ahead. What are your thoughts on that team? You talked a bit earlier about their ability to flex pick. Is there something else that you think makes them really, really strong?
I think they are very, very, very good individually. And as a team as well, of course. But individual skill is very high. And also their flexibility is can sometimes be an issue, since you never know what they play, and they maybe get a better comp, and then you're going to play on a disadvantage. So, I mean, it's going to be an exciting game, or match, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Is there anything you see in Impact that's like, that's a weakness that we can exploit? Like, this is how we play the game to beat them?
No, I mean, not really. It's just, we just got to play our game and find the kills, basically. But it's going to be a tough match, but hopefully we can pull through.
Yeah. All right, so let's assume you do that and you qualify for LAN, since you'll be top 2 in the region then. What would be the most exciting thing about playing at the LAN?
I mean, it's always fun to play at the LAN. I've been at a fair amount of LANs in my days, and it's always a special feeling playing at LANs. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it's always fun to get to meet your team, and I mean, just play in an arena. It's a special feeling. So hopefully we can win versus Impact.
Yeah. Do you think LANs will get bigger in the future, so that we'll see more teams from each region?
I mean, I hope so. I think it's a little bit tough to only have 2 teams from each region. But I mean, it's tough to call. But I would like double the teams or something. And yes, but also it's probably expensive for Stunlock Studios. So I see why they only have 8 teams.
Yeah. People are already about the LAN. People are already talking up the EU-NA rivalry.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys think of as players a lot, or is that more of a fan thing, you think?
I mean, personally, I don't see the EU-NA that big of a rivalry. It's just bickering, you know. Yeah. But obviously, it's going to be very fun to play the other teams in the other regions to see who's the best. So hopefully we get to play Youngsung or Space Station Gaming. Or if they get to the LAN, of course. But yeah, it's going to be exciting if we get to the LAN to play other regions for sure.
Do you have any idea how things look in South America and Korea at the moment?
Actually, no. I haven't actually looked at the games, but I mean, if we get to the lands, we'll obviously do some research and see what they play and such. But I've mainly been keeping track of our own region, EU. That is.
Yeah. I mean, it would be kind of cool if they showed up really, really good, right? I think a lot of people are assuming EU and NA to be the better regions because that's the one that those are the regions that we see in the BPL all the time.
I mean, I like China or Korea. Like they're always gonna be dedicated and good players. Yeah. So, I mean, we might see some upsets at the LAN. So.
Yeah. Who knows? It'll be an exciting time. So after this LAN comes Season 2. How do you think the Battlerite scene will change in the near future? We have like a roadmap. We have Season 2 and Season 3 and another LAN in November, right? That's what we know.
Exactly.
How do you think the scene will grow?
I mean, hopefully I want more tournaments, basically. That would be good for the scene. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. We might see a lot of teams swapping around players after the first BPL, but probably not, since you're kind of locked in for the next season too. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, but hopefully there's going to be more tournaments. That's the biggest factor for me. And bigger tournaments. I mean, BPL is very big, but it would be fun to have more big tournaments as well.
We had like different tournament organizers before. Like we had Battlerite, we had Rivalry Esports. There was the Masters of Bacon guys before that. Do you think we'll see other tournaments like parallel to BPL now, or is it like BPL is that's the esports scene?
I mean, at the moment, it might be hard for other tournaments to compete with BPL.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a scheduled BPL game, yeah, you're gonna play that instead of the other tournaments. So if other tournaments wanna compete with BPL, we gotta have other days probably. But it would be fun to have other tournaments like midweek in the evenings, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get other tournaments out there.
All right, that would be cool. Do you think we'll see? Do you think we'll see a lot of new teams? I mean, personally, I don't know very much about what's happening in the Rising Stars, but like we have 8 teams in Europe, right? In the BPL.
Yeah.
And we have 8 teams in NA. There's 3 players on each team. Usually, that's 8 times 2. That's 24 players.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of Grand Champion players in Battlerite, right? There are a lot of good players out there.
For sure.
Do you think we'll see a lot of new teams actually come in and take spots in the BPL?
I think it's going to be tough for some BPL teams to, or for some Rising Star teams to take spots. But we're probably going to see a lot of teams competing for it, at least. And there might be some teams. I think 1 or 2 teams from Rising Star could maybe steal a spot or 2, because there are good teams out there that hasn't been playing many tournaments before.
Mm-hmm. Are there some players that you got like your eye on who's not in the BPL right now that you feel like could show up anytime soon?
I mean, I know there is one Russian team that is very good. I can't remember their name, unfortunately. And there's also like Condemned's team. I believe he had a team. I mean, there's a lot of good players in the Rising Stars, at least. So I think there might be some upsets in the relegations.
I think I saw Rosar, the guy who subbed in for Jolts in their qualifier, scrimming with the Rising Star team together with Kaninen, a Swedish player, I think. A Swedish
that's true. I think it was Rosar, and I can't remember the last guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's one more, but I don't remember who it is.
Yeah, I don't remember either who the third guy was. Sorry, third guy. We don't remember the name. But, I mean, it would be fun to see Rosar come back, right? Because he was up there playing in the qualifiers.
Yeah, he's a really good player, and I think if he finds the correct team, they could for sure steal a spot in the BPL.
All right. I would like to ask you, since you have this long history in Dota, I know there's this thing going around where people are saying all the time, no, Battlerite is not a MOBA, right? There's a big difference between a MOBA and Battlerite, which is true. But I think a lot of people who come to Battlerite will come from the MOBA scene, right? Because at first glance, if you enjoy MOBAs and you see Battlerite, you might think that, hey, this could be a game for me, right?
Yeah.
Just because of how it looks.
I mean, the game is... I mean, it's a very different game, obviously, but like the system, if you compare it to a shooter game, like in MOBA, you have a hero with 4 skills. I mean, that's kind of the same. You just double the skills and no creeps and you're there. So, I mean, it's like, it's the same, like, not the same concept, the same system with skills and a hero. So it's probably easier for MOBA players to get into Battlerite than shooter games.
Yeah.
Like if you play Counter-Strike and you go to Battlerite, that's... like it's not even close to the same, so I can see why mobile players get into Battlerite.
So as a player who did that transition and went from top tier level of a MOBA game to top tier level of Battlerite, aside from the basic things like you move with WASD and stuff like that, what would you say that you need to keep in mind when you play Battlerite in order to do well, that you might not think about when you come from a MOBA?
That's a tough question. I mean, it's very different since the Battlerite is so much faster pace. So basically, like in the beginning, you just gotta learn all the skills. I mean, what everybody does, so you can play around that. But I mean, there's no specific tip. It's just put in hours in it, and you'll get better. I mean, that's probably the best tip. Put in hours. And, yeah.
Only 10,000 hours to go, and then you're there.
Exactly. No, but I mean, it's kind of, I mean, a couple of 100 hours and you can play it for real, if you know what I mean. So
yeah. How quick was it for you, the progression? How soon did you feel like I'm probably gonna be one of the better players in my region?
I mean, I never really aimed to becoming really good. It just kind of went from standing into a team and then from there. But I always played in Dota 1. There was this mod called Warlocks, which is kind of like Battlerite or BLC, like the same concept. And then I played BLC, so like the transition was kind of smooth. It was just about learning the skills and the game and put in the hours. And when I climbed the ladder, became second in the ladder, and I won some 2 versus 2 tournaments, and then TelRoskMi, everything just went pretty fast. But that's when I played with TelRoskMi, I realized I was getting good at the game.
All right. So you obviously stream some Battlerite as well.
Yeah,
I've seen you stream on Twitch. How much effort do you put into the streaming aspect of what you do as well?
I mean, right now I'm not streaming very much since I'm focusing a lot on BPL, and but it's kind of fun to stream. Like the only downside is that solo queue can sometimes get tiring, and especially like the times I have to stream is early morning, and then the queues is gonna be long. So like it's not optimal to stream Battlerite for me right now, but I'm gonna look into it after BPL for sure.
You're gonna jump on the Battlerite Royale?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for it actually. I'm very excited for that.
The map looked really nice. It looked a lot bigger and better than I thought it would.
I haven't seen the map, but just the concept feels amazing. Since I like PUBG and all of that, so I think it's gonna be a nice mix to have.
Is it important for a pro player who sinks so many hours in to play other games as well?
I think so. Like you should never put in... I mean, you should obviously put in many hours in the game you want to be good at, but I think if you don't take breaks, you're going to get burned out and play worse. So breaks are very important to, keep being good at the game.
All right. You heard it from Mini. I think I've touched on most of the things that I wanted to ask you about here, but where can people find you if they want to see more of you after this interview?
I mean, I have my stream, which is twitch.tv/minidota, and also my Twitter at @miniminidota is the main places I'm at. And I even have my own Discord channel that you can find from my stream, where I'm always active in. People would like to get in touch with me, basically.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to say before we shut things down here?
No, not really. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been a blast talking to you, and I wish you the best of luck in your semifinals versus Impact.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. See ya.
See ya, man.